Good morning, friends. This is your old girl, Melanie Rose, here to share your daily aspects. Today is Monday, November 2021. Happy Samhain, everyone. Yesterday was Solar Samhain, also celebrated around here as Halloween, and this Thursday is Lunar Samhain with the new moon in Scorpio. Samhain is the witch's new year, so this is the time that we set ourselves up for a fresh start. Many of us cleanse and bless our homes at this time. It is an appropriate time to honor our ancestors, those beloved and admired people who have passed on from life. It is also a good time to rededicate ourselves to our spiritual path. Spells and prayers for protection, banishment, and divination are indicated at this time, as well as shadow work for personal growth. The moon starts out in Virgo today, making ingress to Libra late this afternoon. The moon in Virgo sharpens our minds and our senses. We are able better to digest and assess what is needed in any given circumstance. We often have an urge to tidy up and reorganize under the influence of a Virgo moon, which is appropriate in light of the Samhain holiday and considering the waning crescent energy of this moon, which invites us to get rid of whatever it is that we no longer need in anticipation of the new moon next Thursday, when we begin again to plan and create. The sun is in Scorpio, and Scorpio is known as a powerful, even compelling sign, especially when it comes to those things we most deeply desire. I'm making note of this right now because this Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, the sun, moon, and Mars will all be in Scorpio. Doop-da-doop-da-doo. That's our outer self, our inner self, and our personal sense of initiative, hanging out on the same scene, enjoying the deep Scorpio waters. We're likely to be more aware than usual of those things we normally keep under wraps. Strong feelings, desires, and dreams are Scorpio's jam, so to speak. And with the influence of Mars in Scorpio, we have more power than usual to bring our dreams to life. So don't be surprised this week if you feel a whelming or overwhelming urge to act on that thing you love but have kept tucked away in your heart. Scorpio is the season of radical change after all. With some positive intentions, we can be more like ourselves and more aligned with our desires going forward from here. Okay, let's take a look at these planets and aspects before we get into any interpretations. This is the sun, and the sun represents our outer life. That's who we are when we step out the door in our civic engagement, our work engagement, our social engagements, the person we are on the outside for everyone else. And we have the moon, which represents our inner life. That's our relationship with ourselves, who we are on the inside, how we feel, what we know intuitively. It also relates to our domestic space, so how we are at home and who we happen to be at home with are indicated there. In the ongoing, not in the ongoing column yet, but we do have Mars here present with us in the ongoing column. Mars is your sense of personal initiative. It's your ambition, it's your drive, it's the thing that makes you want to act. It's the enthusiasm and the gusto as well. Mercury is the intellect. These are especially our day-to-day thoughts and communications, the plans that we make, the traveling around that we do. Jupiter is growth and opportunity. Expansion, positivity. Neptune. This is our relationship to the human collective. or how well we are in the human spirit. Pluto, extremes. Pluto is about death and rebirth, endings and beginnings, and sort of extremes of behavior, emotion, thoughts, etc. And Pluto rules Scorpio, so all over the place in our chart, in our daily charts right now. Chiron is an asteroid that represents how to heal. Venus, love and money. Again, this is a relating planet like Neptune, but this is how we relate to those things and people that we most dearly adore and love and value. Do I have room for Uranus? Uranus represents change, or really the urge to do things differently. Okay, those are the planets we're working with today. Let's take a look at some of these aspects. These funny looking little arrows are ingress, which is a word for the transit of a planetary body from one sign of the zodiac into the next sign. And understand and be aware that they don't just hop around willy-nilly to different signs in the zodiac. They travel along a predictable path, and they go forward through the signs, or they go backward through the signs. These are trine. Trine is very positive. It's a harmonious aspect. Planets in a trine situation will be in the same element together, so they're really just, they're vibing on each other and enjoying the company. This is opposition. This is the potential for conflict. And an opportunity to find the balance. Or I like to say, you know, we're going to find a balance one way or the other. Are we going to let ourselves get into conflict over it, or are we just going to, you know, make the adjustment? This is Quincunx. And this is a variable outcomes. What we can say is we don't know what will happen. Square represents the potential for challenges. Unlike opposition with conflict, square brings up challenges that we simply have to, you know, have some patience, take some deep breaths, use our skills, and move through them. And this is a perihelion, which means that that planet will be closest to the sun on its own elliptical orbit around the sun. So those are the players. These are the plays. Let's get into some interpretation. Under the ongoing column, Mars made ingress to Scorpio a couple days ago on Saturday. And I just want to leave this up here through Samhain as a reminder of the boost of enthusiasm and initiative this placement is giving to all our inner work right now. Mars in Scorpio invites us to act on our deepest desires. Practically compels us. Today is day 2 of 2 for Mercury trine Jupiter, which is a harmonious pairing that brings with it optimism and good fortune. Astrolatus says, any mental and intellectual pursuits are favored today, although you might not have the motivation to solve difficult problems. So enjoy your optimism and good fortune. Don't necessarily put your mind to work on too much difficult problems. And now we come to today's aspects. I give these in Central Standard Time as I am in Arkansas, y'all. At 2:04 a.m. this morning, the moon went into opposition with Neptune. This is a tricky aspect because we can be so sensitive, emotionally speaking, that it's easy to misunderstand the intentions and behaviors of other people. It is easy at this time to both get and give the wrong impression, and this can cause conflict. Fortunately, this 2-hour aspect occurs in the middle of the night. It's a good time to keep to ourselves and not take the rest of the world too seriously. Emotional sensitivity to other people. And then at 8:42 this morning, the moon runs trine with Pluto. This transit also increases our emotional sensitivity as well as our intuitive perception. This is an ideal time to approach that shadow work I mentioned before. Friends, when we don't work on the parts of ourselves that we fear or despise, we stall our progress as human beings. This 2-hour aspect invites us to turn inward and treat those old wounds with compassion, dignity, and forgiveness. It will still be in effect when we come into this next aspect, the Sun Quincunx Chiron. Emotional sensitivity and intuition, positive for self-work. The trine aspect is what makes this a great time to try to do that shadow work, because maybe we can get in there and learn something and heal something and come out of it feeling pretty positive. That shadow work isn't easy, so take the positivity where you can get it. This next aspect is Sun Quincunx Chiron. So taking that deep dive into our own shadow can have the effect of making us more sensitive to the perceptions of other people. It can be intimidating to share too much of ourselves due to fear of rejection. Our sense of well-being may be feeling somewhat fragile. So it's a good time in the outer life to bring our focus to building on our strengths while those seeds of change we have planted in our hearts take time to germinate. This aspect lasts 2 days, so we will discuss it again tomorrow. Sensitive to perceptions of others. Build on strengths. Yes, I misspelled build, and I'm just not going to go back there and mess with it. You're welcome. Then at 12 p.m., high noon, my friends, a void of course moon runs square with Venus. The void of course says this moon isn't feeling very influenced either by Virgo or by Libra, and so these aspects are believed to be somewhat weaker in their effect on us. This 2-hour aspect, this is the one we encounter where we feel a strong need for love and affection. We may be feeling romantic or somewhat social. However, the people we tend to rely on for that kind of support may not be available to provide it. So consider this a little self-love challenge or self-care challenge. Look for a way to provide for yourself without overindulging. And then at 6:11 this evening, the moon makes ingress to Libra. So out of the earthy, details-driven mentality of Virgo and into a much more airy, values-driven approach. Here's a quote from the Wee Moon calendar. Moon in Libra warms our hearts and heightens our aesthetics. Beauty, fairness, and balance feed us. We want everyone to get along, and we become allergic to discord in the culture with our in the culture and with our beloveds. So this is a 2.5 day transit, and I like this phrase, allergic to discord. Achoo. Coming up this week, the combination of Samhain festivities and the diminishing moon through Thursday continue to make this a good time for scrying and divination. I almost said divination, however you like to do it. This Thursday, Uranus will reach its perihelion, bringing more visibility and power to the urge we have to do things differently. On Friday, Venus moves into Capricorn and Mercury moves into Scorpio. And at the end of the week, Mercury will make a lovely sextile aspect with Venus. At the end of the week, Mercury will make a lovely sextile aspect with Venus, encouraging us to open up about ourselves with those loved ones we keep the closest. And we will talk about these things and more in upcoming episodes. That's it for today, friends. This has been your Daily Aspects, an astrological weather forecast for Monday, November 1, 2021. If you haven't already, please like my video and subscribe to the Old Girl channel. I will leave this up here for about 30 seconds so that you can have time to look it over. My name is Melanie Rose, and I will see you all back here tomorrow for more Daily Aspects.